afternoon, and welcome to today's episode of 41 Minutes. We have quite the show set up for you today. In this segment, we will be looking into the world's most interesting methodology in qualitative research, case studies.
Over the course of this segment, we'll be looking and covering 3 research studies, so one in which we'll be interviewing a special guest. So make sure to stay tuned, folks. We're just going to take a quick break and we'll be right back with more of today's episode of 41 Minutes. Welcome back to 41 Minutes. We're just going to dive right into our first case study this evening.
Researchers Christine Howitt and Simon Lewis used the case study method to investigate how one preschool teacher implemented forensic science as a form of scientific inquiry within the classroom. Now over to Nancy, who's on location at Highgate Primary School with Miss Christine Howitt.
Thanks, Sharon. I'm here with Christine, and she's one of the researchers in this study. Christine, tell me a little bit about your study.
Okay, well, where do I even start? Well, first of all, children have an immense curiosity, a thirst for knowledge and questioning. They're innate scientists, but the challenge for early childhood educators, is fueling this curiosity and providing an engaging environment with early learning centers, It's really hard. My specific paper, describes the concept, the process and skills of scientific inquiry, outlines the basic principle of forensic science, and provides a detailed description, sorry, this is really long, of the children's learning experiences and interprets these experiences. Did you get that? Did you get all that?
I think we got it.
Okay, in relation to developing children's scientific inquiry skills, such as exploring and predicting, observing and recording, all that stuff, using equipment, etc., stuff like that, the paper argues that complex topics such as forensic science can be successfully implemented with young children, highlighting the competence of these children.
Very nice, yes. So, Christine, why did you choose Emily's class specifically as your focus of the study?
Well, I was intrigued by Emily's teaching style, and specifically how she wanted to use the theme of we're going on a forensic bear hunt to provide an integrated and engaging experience in children to solve the class mystery.
So, Christine, I'm interested in what methods you used to collect your data for this study.
Oh yeah, for my study, it was pretty straightforward. In order to develop the detailed case study that I did, data was collected from a wide range of sources, actually. I included interviews with Emily herself. Those were pretty interesting. A copy of her teaching program, children's responses to in-class questions that we had set up for them, and their drawings too, and observations in class. That was pretty much it.
Perfect. Well, thank you, Christine, for your time. Now we're going to take a little look inside of the classroom to see what it's all about. Okay, class, now I want you to break them into groups, and we're going to go around the class. We're going to find all the clues of the footprints and the samples of fur, and we're going to solve the mystery.
Oh, yay! Yay!
Okay, I think I see a footprint over there. Let's go. Whoa! And some bear fur, oh my gosh! We're getting closer, I can tell. Let's go. Well, that was fun. Now back to Sharon and Bernice in the newsroom.
Isn't that just precious?
Amazing.
Awesome work there. Thanks, Nancy.
And we're just going to take another quick break. Stay tuned and we'll be right back with another great, exciting case study for you guys. And welcome back again to 41 Minutes. We've got about 28 minutes of this episode remaining tonight.
Our next case study looks at whether or not dogs can be used to prime autistic children for therapy.
That sounds interesting. Now let's take a closer look at this study. Canine-assisted therapy has been receiving growing attention as a means of aiding children with autism spectrum disorder. Yet, only limited studies have been done, and a great deal of literature related to this intervention is anecdotal. The present study aims at providing additional quantitative evidence on the potential of dogs to positively modulate the behavior of children with ASD.
Hi, Sophie here, reporting for 41 Minutes. Today I have with me Rita.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm excellent.
Great.
So I was reading your very interesting article and I just had a couple questions for you
Sure.
regarding your case. Can you tell me about it and a little bit how you collected your data?
Sure. So my study, it included a 12-year-old boy, and he was diagnosed with autism. His treatment conditions, they included structured activities one-on-one with both this lovely gentleman here and a therapist. And then they also had treatment conditions that involved just a therapist and a child one-on-one. Different activities involved in that. To accurately assess the differences in behavior of this boy between these treatment conditions, the therapist followed a very strict protocol. So the behavior of the participant was continuously video recorded, both treatment conditions, for further analysis and comparison by myself and by the other researchers involved in this study.
Wow, that's very interesting. Rita,
Yes.
tell me a little bit about your findings from your study.
Okay, the findings are actually pretty interesting. So when the child was in the presence of the dog, he actually exhibited more frequent and longer durations of positive behavior. So he was more likely to smile and have positive physical contact with other. See that. As well as he had less frequent durations of negative behavior, so he was less likely to be aggressive. So which I found quite interesting. So I feel this study may contribute toward a change for the acceptance of, canine-assisted therapy. I think it really helps, and I think,
Last question for you, Rita.
Sure.
You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, well, why did you choose this particular methodology?
Oh, well, I'm really glad you asked that. I chose to use case study because I found this particular method of therapy to be very unique. There aren't many therapy treatments out there for autism which involve dogs or other animals in the treatment process, so I decided to look at this boy in particular, his experiences with the treatment, to gain more information about therapies involving dogs in general.
Very interesting. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Back to you guys.
Wasn't that just lovely?
Oh, I love her. She's just got a beautiful soul. I had the greatest conversation with her backstage.
Well, folks, our next case study takes us over the pond to Britain with Nancy.
And she's going to be looking into how parents with disabilities maintain their involvement in their children's education.
Thanks, ladies. I'm here with June today, and she's one of the researchers in this study. June, I just have a couple questions for you. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having me here.
Why did you choose this study?
Well, in particular, I chose this study. I wanted to examine a group of individuals with disabilities, in particular parents, and I wanted to focus in on their engagement in their children's education. So I intended to explore their views and experiences and involvement in their schools, which is different, right?
Yeah, very interesting.
Regular parents. I actually focused in on 24 cases, and with ranging impairments the parents had. So they had from physical impairments to sensory to learning disabilities and also mental distress. So there was quite a bit of variation there, and I found quite a lot of interest in this study because there's little attention being paid to issues surrounding disabled parents' participation in their children's education. So I wanted to discover a few things.
That's great. And how did you go about conducting this study?
Well, this particular study, it was semi-structured questionnaires that I used that were devised by myself and my research team, and a series of open-ended questions were asked each parent so they could recount the details of their involvement in the school, and then also to identify the elements that constituted good practice from their points of view. So yeah, the interviews were also primarily carried out face-to-face as well. A few were done over the phone for various reasons, and they're also at convenient times for them, so we didn't take them out of any settings or anything like that. Yeah, and it was. Sorry. Sorry.
Go ahead.
Just excited about my study. Also, they were mostly taken in their homes, and they lasted approximately an hour.
Okay.
Yes.
And what were some of the findings? I'm interested to know.
Almost all parents in the study actually they provided good practice, which most people would find rather shocking. I don't know why, but obviously we've studied further into that. A few parents were involved in their schools on a representative bodies. They weren't really identified as being involved, and a lot of them actually they said that their schools were not engaging with them and getting them involved unless asked, and some were, so there was variation in my results.
Awesome. Okay, well, thank you for your time and thank you for answering your questions so
no
kindly.
problem.
We're going to go back to the girls in the newsroom.
And that's it for this evening's episode of 41 Minutes. Folks, we have run out of time.
Thank you for joining us this evening. Stay tuned next week where we learn about what's really in Jell-O.